We all know why you're really here, Maya. Coach Harlan's voice booms across the natatorium, sharp and deliberate, ensuring every ear catches his venom. Affirmative action might get you in the pool, but it won't keep you afloat. The words crash into Maya Johnson like a tidal wave, leaving her drenched and exposed at the edge of the Olympic-sized pool, chlorine stinging her eyes as humiliation burns hotter. 17 pale faces bob in the lanes, some wide-eyed in shock, others smirking with quiet approval. No one defends her. But my splits were faster than most of the... Maya begins, her voice cracking under the weight. Splits? Harlan scoffs, his laugh ricocheting off the tiles like gunfire. This isn't just about numbers, kid. It's about form, discipline, knowing the legacy of the sport. The subtext hangs heavy, and fitting the image. Team captain Brooke Sinclair, with her flawless platinum bob, doesn't bother hiding her triumphant grin. Dylan Reed, son of the booster club's biggest donor, mutters, "About time," just loud enough. The reality is, Harlan presses on, glancing at his flashy smartwatch, a perk from last year's anonymous donation. Some folks just don't mesh with our championship culture, no matter the hype. A bead of water trails down Maya's cheek, blurring with what could be tears under the harsh lights, marking her as the lone outsider in this sea of entitlement. Hand over your team gear before you head out. We can't afford to squander resources. Maya stands rooted, enduring the stares like daggers. Whispers swirl, token higher, doesn't belong. With steel in her spine, she pivots toward the lockers, each step a silent vow. This isn't over, not by a long shot. And they're about to discover the storm they've unleashed. Good day, family. Welcome to another story. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. This is Speak Black Stories. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for daily uploads. Your support means everything. Now, let's continue the story. The 47 bus smells like defeat and stale French fries. Maya slumps against the scratched window, her Riverside Academy duffel bag clutched to her chest like armor. Outside, manicured lawns and Tesla-lined driveways blur into chain-link fences and corner bodegas as the route winds toward her neighborhood. Her phone buzzes. 3 texts from Brooke. Knew you wouldn't last. Stick to your own kind. And a photo of the team celebrating without her, champagne bottles raised. Maya deletes them, but the damage spreads through her chest like poison. The academy had been her father's dream. "You're going to swim with the best, mija," he'd whispered from his hospital bed 2 years ago, his lungs ravaged by asbestos from 20 years installing insulation. Show them what a Johnson can do. He'd pressed something into her palm, a small USB drive, warm from his grip. "When you're ready, open this. Everything I learned, it's all there. Promise me you'll use it." She'd promised. But the encryption had been impenetrable, and grief had made her set it aside. Until now. The bus jolts to a stop at Maple and 7th. Maya trudges 3 blocks to their apartment, a walk-up above a laundromat where the scent of detergent never quite leaves her clothes. Inside, her mother sits at the kitchen table, surrounded by a fortress of bills. Medical invoices from the hospice, past due notices stamped in angry red. "Maya?" Her mom looks up, reading her face instantly. "What happened?" "Harlan kicked me off." The words taste like ash. "Said I don't fit the championship culture." Her mother's jaw tightens, that familiar fire sparking in her eyes, the same fire that once made her a competitive swimmer before Maya was born, before circumstances forced her to choose between dreams and survival. "That racist, it doesn't matter." Maya drops her bag. "I'm going to train anyway. There's got to be other competitions, open meets where scouts show up." "Baby, we can't afford..." "I know." Maya pulls out the USB drive, turns it over in her fingers. "But Dad left me something. His research, his methods. I'm going to figure it out. Her mother's eyes glisten. He always said you'd be the one to crack it. That night, Maya hunches over her ancient laptop at the library, the only place with fast enough internet. The USB demands a password. She tries everything, birthdays, their old address, swimming terms. Nothing works. Then, on impulse, Vortex Girl 2008, his old nickname for her, from when she'd spin in the bathtub as a toddler. The files unlock, hundreds of documents bloom across the screen, video analyses, physics equations, biomechanical diagrams annotated in her father's meticulous handwriting, and at the center, a technique he called the vortex turn, a revolutionary flip that manipulated water turbulence to generate propulsion instead of resistance. The math was elegant, counterintuitive, beautiful. At the bottom of the main folder, a note. Maya, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I couldn't teach you this myself, but you don't need me. You never did. This technique will make you the fastest swimmer alive, but only if you trust yourself enough to break every rule they've taught you. Don't swim like them. Swim like you. Dad. Her hands shake as she downloads everything to her phone. Around her, the library buzzes with students cramming for exams, oblivious to the blueprint for revolution she's just inherited. When she gets home, her mother is waiting with news that cracks the foundation further. I got laid off today. The warehouse is downsizing. She tries to smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. We'll figure it out. Maya's scholarship to Riverside had covered tuition, nothing else. Without her mother's income, they're 3 months from eviction. The decision crystallizes like ice. She will train in secret. She will master her father's technique. And she will compete at the international meet Harlan mentioned, the one in Miami that draws Olympic scouts from every major program. She will show them all exactly what a Johnson can do. Ms. Elena Reyes teaches AP Physics at Riverside, but Maya knows her real story. Former college swimmer, NCAA silver medalist, career ended by a shoulder injury that never properly healed. She's one of the few teachers who looked at Maya and saw talent instead of a diversity statistic. Maya finds her grading papers after school, the classroom empty except for posters of Einstein and Curie watching from the walls. I need your help, Maya says without preamble. Ms. Reyes looks up, takes in Maya's determined expression, and sets down her red pen. I heard what happened. Harlan's a dinosaur who should have been fired years ago. He has the board in his pocket. All those parent donations. Maya sits on the edge of a desk. But I'm not giving up. I have my father's research, advanced hydrodynamics, technique modifications. I need someone who understands the physics to help me train. She pulls up the vortex turn schematics on her phone. Ms. Reyes's eyes widen as she scrolls through the equations. Maya, this could revolutionize competitive swimming. The angle of entry, the torque distribution. It's brilliant. She looks up. But you'd need access to a pool, somewhere you can practice without interference. That's the problem. Harlan has connections at every aquatic center in the district. He'll blacklist me. Miss Reyes taps her fingers on the desk, thinking. Then, my house. My ex-husband was a contractor. We have a lap pool in the backyard built before the divorce. 25 meters, not Olympic-sized, but functional. She meets Maya's gaze. If you're serious about this, we start tomorrow, 6 a.m. before school. Relief floods through Maya. I'm serious. Good. Because I'm not just doing this for you. Ms. Reyes's voice drops. I'm doing this because people like Harlan cost me my career too. Different reasons, same corruption. It's time someone beat them at their own game. They shake on it, two outcasts forging an alliance. That evening, Maya dives deeper into her father's files. She discovers he'd been in contact with sports scientists, biomechanics researchers, even a former Soviet coach who'd defected in the 90s. The vortex turn wasn't just theory. It had been tested, refined, proven in small trials that traditional swimming federations had dismissed as unconventional. But there's another file that makes her blood run cold. A letter her father had drafted to Riverside's administration, never sent, detailing irregularities in Harlan's recruiting practices. Falsified times for donor children, suppressed results for scholarship athletes, evidence of systematic bias. He'd been building a case before he got too sick to finish it. Her phone buzzes with a notification. Harlan has announced the Riverside Invitational, a prestigious meet in 6 weeks where international scouts will be evaluating talent for Olympic development programs. The team roster is already posted. Brooke Sinclair in Maya's old events, Dylan Reed getting premium time slots. The message is clear. You're forgotten. Maya screenshots everything, backs it up in 3 places, and texts Ms. Reyes. Let's make that 5 a.m. instead. I have work to do. The response comes instantly. Bring your fire, kid. You're going to need it. Ms. Reyes' backyard becomes Maya's sanctuary. In the pre-dawn darkness, the pool glows an eerie blue, steam rising in the October chill. Maya arrives before the sun, leaves after it climbs over the neighbor's roof. The vortex turn is harder than the equations suggested. It requires entering the turn at a precise angle, 17.3 degrees from vertical, then rotating through a compressed spiral that manipulates the water's natural turbulence. Done right, it creates a pocket of low resistance and generates forward momentum from the rotation itself. Done wrong, it's like hitting a wall. Maya hits a lot of walls. Again, Ms. Reyes calls from poolside, stopwatch in hand. You're pulling out too early. Trust the physics. Maya surfaces, gasping. It feels wrong, like I'm going backward. Because you're fighting 20 years of traditional technique. Your body wants to do what Coach Harlan taught you. You need to unlearn it. Ms. Reyes crouches down. What did your father's notes say about mental approach? Maya closes her eyes, recalls the passage. The water isn't your enemy. It's your partner. Stop trying to conquer it. Learn to dance. She tries again. This time, she lets go of control at the crucial moment, surrenders to the spiral, feels the water catch and accelerate her forward. When she surfaces, Ms. Reyes is grinning. 0.3 of a second faster than your best flip turn. Do that in a race, and you've just found Olympic-level speed. Maya's heart hammers with possibility. Again. They drill for hours. Between techniques, Ms. Reyes shares her own story. How she'd been pushed out of collegiate swimming when she got pregnant. How the system favors athletes who fit a certain mold. How her injury had been aggravated by a coach who prioritized medals over health. You're not just swimming for yourself, Ms. Reyes says during a water break. You're swimming for every kid who got told they don't belong. By week 2, Maya has shaved 2 full seconds off her 200-meter time. But success breeds attention she doesn't want. Someone has been watching. It starts with a Reddit post in a local swimming forum. Kicked off Riverside swimmer training in secret. LOL trying to stay relevant. The post includes a grainy photo of Maya in Ms. Reyes' pool, clearly taken from a neighbor's window with a zoom lens. Within hours, it spreads. Brooke Sinclair shares it on Instagram with the caption, "Backyard swimming equals backyard talent." The team piles on with mocking comments about community college ambitions and knowing your place. Maya's first instinct is shame. Her second is rage. Let them laugh, Ms. Reyes advises. Every minute they spend mocking you is a minute they're not improving. You keep your head down and work. But the harassment escalates. Someone creates a fake profile claiming to be Maya, posting offensive content that gets flagged across multiple platforms. Her mother receives anonymous calls at 3 a.m. Someone spray paints "Quota Queen" on their building's entrance. Through it all, Maya swims. Then a lifeline. Another swimmer reaches out. Jaden Park, a Korean-American sophomore on Riverside's team who'd always been friendly but never vocal. His DM is brief. What they're doing is wrong. I have info about Harlan you need to see. Library after school? Maya agrees to meet, hope kindling cautiously. Jaden arrives with a USB drive of his own. I work in the admin office during free period. Harlan doesn't know I have access to his email archives. He glances around nervously. There are messages, emails between Harlan and parents, discussing donations in exchange for roster spots, times being adjusted in the system to favor certain swimmers. It's all there. Maya's hands shake as she scrolls through the files. There's a paper trail of corruption spanning 3 years. Brooke's mother donated $50,000 the same week Brooke was made captain despite slower times than 2 other candidates. Dylan's father renovated the locker rooms for $100,000 after Dylan failed to qualify for districts. And there's more. Harlan discussing Maya specifically, how her times were too good and might complicate the existing hierarchy, how he needed to manage the situation before scouts started asking questions. "Why are you showing me this?" Maya asks. Jaden meets her eyes. "Because I'm tired of being part of something rotten. My parents pushed me into this team, but it's not who I want to be." He straightens. "Whatever you're planning, I want to help." Maya makes a decision that will change everything. "Can you keep watching him? Document everything?" "Already am." They exchange encrypted contact info. Maya now has an inside source and proof of systematic corruption. All she needs is the platform to expose it. The first community pool closure feels like coincidence. The second feels like a pattern. By the third, Maya knows it's war. Every public aquatic facility within a 15-mile radius suddenly has maintenance issues or permit complications that require temporary closure. She calls the Parks Department. They're apologetic but unhelpful. Budget cuts, they claim. Timing is unfortunate. Maya doesn't believe in coincidence anymore. "Harlan has reached beyond Riverside," Ms. Reyes says grimly. "School board members, city council connections. If he's feeling threatened, he'll use every lever he has." But Maya refuses to be stopped by closed doors. If she can't use pools, she'll adapt. Lake Meridian sits at the edge of town, a murky expanse where fishermen launch boats at dawn and teenagers party at dusk. The water is cold, unpredictable, nothing like chlorinated lanes. Perfect. Maya shows up before sunrise with a waterproof smartwatch, a birthday gift from her father 3 years ago that tracks strokes and heart rate. The lake is dark as ink, the surface rippling with wind. Ms. Reyes watches from shore, nervous. "This isn't safe. The currents are exactly what I need." Maya wades in, the cold stealing her breath. "If I can master the vortex turn here, a calm pool will feel easy." She's right, but the training is brutal. The lake fights back with undertows and temperature shifts. Twice, she has to abort sessions when kayakers get too close. Once, a water snake glides past her shoulder and she nearly screams. But she gets faster, stronger, meaner. At home, the situation deteriorates. Her mother's unemployment benefits run out. They start skipping meals, rationing grocery money. Maya takes a weekend job bussing tables at a diner, her arms aching from carrying trays, her chlorine-damaged hair hidden under a cap. Between shifts and training, she studies for the SATs, applies for scholarships, and maps her path to the international meet in Miami. The entry fee is $200, money they don't have. Then she discovers the underground qualifying circuit. These are unsanctioned meets held in converted warehouses and community centers, where swimmers without team affiliations can compete for money and entry slots to larger competitions. The prizes are modest, the organization chaotic, but it's her only shot. Maya enters the Metro Open, held in a converted YMCA pool. The competition is fierce. College dropouts chasing professional dreams, immigrants barred from traditional teams by visa complications, kids from underfunded schools who never had access to elite training. She's among her people. The 200-meter freestyle is her first event. 8 swimmers, no lane assignments, just a mad scramble to the wall. Maya deploys the vortex turn at the 100-meter mark, feels the water propel her forward like a slingshot. She touches the wall first by a full body length. The small crowd erupts. Ms. Reyes screams herself hoarse. Jaden, who snuck out to watch, films everything on his phone. Maya wins 3 events that night, takes home $600 in prize money, and secures a qualifying slot for the Miami International, the same meet where Riverside's team will compete, where Olympic scouts will be watching. The organizer, a grizzled former coach named Rita, pulls Maya aside afterward. "That turn you're doing, I've never seen anything like it. Where'd you learn that?" "From my father." Rita nods slowly. "Guard that technique with your life, kid. The moment people understand what you're doing, they'll try to take it from you." Maya thanks her, but the warning comes too late. That same night, Coach Harlan receives an anonymous email, courtesy of someone in the crowd who recognized Maya, containing footage of her revolutionary turn, her victory, her rising threat to his carefully constructed hierarchy. And Harlan does what corrupt men always do when challenged. He escalates. Maya wakes to 17 missed calls and a social media firestorm. The headline on Swim News Now reads, "Disgraced Coach's Stolen Methods Surface in Underground Circuit." The article claims that Coach James Harlan, renowned swimming instructor, has had his proprietary training techniques plagiarized by a former student with a vendetta, describing elaborate hydrodynamic innovations he developed over decades. The accompanying photo shows pages from her father's research, the vortex turn schematics, the biomechanical analyses, with Harlan's name watermarked across them. Maya's stomach plummets. He's posted everything online, claiming authorship. Worse, he's filing a formal complaint with the Swimming Federation, accusing Maya of theft and demanding she be barred from sanctioned competition. The comments section is a cesspool. Typical. No originality. She probably can't even do a basic flip turn without copying. A few defenders push back, but they're drowned out by the mob. Her phone rings. Ms. Reyes, voice tight with fury. "Get to my house, now!" In Ms. Reyes's living room, they strategize like generals planning a counter-offensive. Jaden joins via video call, pale but determined. "We have the original files with timestamps," Maya says, pulling up her father's USB. "Created years before Harlan claims he developed anything." "Not enough," Ms. Reyes counters. "He'll say your father stole them from him, or that they worked together and you misunderstood ownership. We need to prove Harlan's lying about the science itself." "I have his emails," Jaden says. Messages where he explicitly asks parents for swimming technique resources, recommends coaches for their kids. He never mentions developing his own methods. Plus, he hesitates. There's correspondence where he discusses eliminating competition from scholarship athletes. It's not explicitly about Maya, but the timing matches. "We need more," Maya says. "Something undeniable." Ms. Reyes leans forward. "Then we go on offense. We hack his system, carefully, legally, and pull everything. School emails are technically public record for staff. If we file a Freedom of Information request, that'll take months," Maya interrupts. "Not if we have help." Ms. Reyes pulls out her phone, dials a number. "I know a journalist at the Metro Tribune. She's been investigating athletic program corruption for years. If we give her enough to run with, she can force the school's hand." They work through the night, assembling a case file. Jaden's leaked emails, screenshots of Harlan's social media posts showing his ignorance of the science he claims to have invented, testimony from other swimmers he's mistreated. Ms. Reyes reaches out to former colleagues who left the program under suspicious circumstances. The dossier grows into something damning. But Maya hits her breaking point when her mother shows her the eviction notice. 30 days to vacate. The publicity has spooked their landlord, who doesn't want controversy associated with his property. That night, alone in the apartment that's no longer really theirs, Maya almost quits. She stares at her father's photo on the nightstand, him in his prime, young and strong, holding a tiny Maya at the pool. He'd worked himself to death in attics filled with asbestos so she could have opportunities he never did. He'd spent his final months researching, innovating, believing in her, and she'd let Harlan steal it all. Except, no. Harlan stole the documentation. He stole the credit, but he couldn't steal the truth. Maya opens her laptop, creates a new YouTube account under a pseudonym, and records herself. No fancy production, just her in their cramped kitchen, speaking directly to the camera. My name is Maya Johnson. A month ago, I was kicked off the Riverside Academy swim team by Coach James Harlan, who told me I didn't fit their championship culture. 2 weeks ago, he stole my late father's research and claimed it as his own. This is my response. She uploads footage from the Metro Open, demonstrates the vortex turn in Ms. Reyes' pool, explains the physics in her father's voice, using his actual notes as evidence. She shows the timestamps, the metadata, the proof of origin. She posts Jaden's leaked emails, names redacted to protect him, showing Harlan's corruption. And she ends with a challenge. I'll be competing at the Miami International in 3 weeks. If Coach Harlan's techniques are really his, if he really understands the science, then his athletes should be able to beat me. Let's find out. She uploads the video at 2 a.m., exhausted and terrified. By morning, it has 40,000 views. By noon, it's viral. By evening, the Metro Tribune runs a front-page story. Swimming prodigy exposes coach's theft and corruption. And Coach James Harlan's world begins to crumble. The video changes everything. Overnight, Maya transforms from a forgotten outcast into a symbol of resistance against systemic injustice in competitive sports. Messages flood her inbox, from swimmers across the country who've faced similar treatment, from parents whose talented kids were sidelined for wealthier teammates, from former athletes Harlan had destroyed. But local response splits sharply. Riverside Academy's administration releases a statement defending Harlan, citing his decades of distinguished service and dismissing Maya's claims as a disgruntled student's vendetta. The school board schedules an investigation, but makes clear their skepticism. In her neighborhood, though, Maya becomes a hero. Mrs. Chen from the laundromat offers free service for a year. The bodega owner slips extra groceries into her mother's bags. And kids start showing up at Lake Meridian, asking if she'll teach them to swim. The first is Marcus, a 13-year-old who'd been cut from his middle school team for lack of focus, code for ADHD that his family couldn't afford to medicate. Then Destiny, a black girl whose parents couldn't cover the fees for a competitive club team. Then Jorge, Carlos, Aaliyah, a dozen kids from families like Maya's, hungry for a chance they'd been denied. I can't take your money, Maya tells them. I'm barely keeping myself afloat. We're not offering money, Marcus's mother says. We're offering community. You teach our kids, we'll support your training. Meals, transportation, whatever you need. Ms. Reyes helps Maya design a program. They train at Lake Meridian 3 evenings a week, teaching proper technique, building strength, fostering confidence. Maya shares her father's methods carefully, adapting them for different body types and skill levels. She calls them the Vortex Squad. Word spreads. A local news crew covers their training session, framing it as grassroots swimming revolution. The footage of these diverse kids executing advanced techniques in a murky lake, laughing and encouraging each other, goes viral. It's a stark contrast to Riverside's sterile, exclusive natatorium. But Harlan isn't finished. He files an official complaint with the Swimming Federation's Ethics Committee, claiming Maya's techniques violate equipment regulations, they don't, and that her social media posts constitute harassment, they're factual. The Federation issues a warning. If she engages in any unsportsmanlike conduct at Miami, she'll be disqualified and banned from future sanctioned competition. It's a trap. They're hoping she'll lash out, give them justification to silence her. Maya responds with silence. No social media posts, no interviews. She lets her supporters speak for her while she focuses on training. Jaden provides crucial intelligence. Harlan is coaching his team to target Maya specifically at Miami, not just to beat her, but to sabotage her. Body checks during warm-ups, psychological warfare. He's even arranged for sympathetic judges to scrutinize her turns, looking for any technical violation to disqualify her. He's terrified, Jaden says during a secret meeting at Ms. Reyes's house. The investigation hasn't found enough to fire him yet, but his reputation is tanking. If you beat his athletes at Miami, it's over for him. Then that's what I'll do, Maya says. But privately, she's struggling. The pressure is immense. She's not just swimming for herself anymore. She's carrying the hopes of her mother, her students, everyone who's been marginalized by people like Harlan. The weight threatens to drown her. A panic attack hits during a lake session. One moment she's swimming, the next she can't breathe, can't orient herself, thrashing in water that suddenly feels like concrete. Ms. Reyes pulls her out, holds her while she sobs on the shore. I can't do this, Maya gasps. What if I fail? What if Harlan was right and I don't belong? Listen to me. Ms. Reyes grips her shoulders. Your father's research works. Your training works. You've proven it a dozen times. The only thing that can stop you now is believing their lies. But what if... No. No what-ifs. Ms. Reyes softens. You know what your father told me once? When we met at a school event, back when he was sick but still fighting, he said, my daughter is going to change swimming, not because she's the fastest, though she will be, but because she refuses to accept the world as it is. Her eyes are fierce. Don't prove him wrong. The words settle into Maya's bones, replacing doubt with steel. She returns to the water with renewed purpose. The Vortex squad joins her, their presence a reminder that she's not alone. They practice starts, turns, finishes. They run drills until muscle memory overwrites fear. 2 weeks before Miami, Maya receives an unexpected package. Inside, a letter from Rita, the organizer from the Metro Open, along with $500 in cash and a note. From swimmers who couldn't be there but believe in what you're doing. Make it count. The money covers her hotel in Miami. The letter goes on her wall next to her father's photo. She's ready. Miami hits like a wall of humidity and chlorine. The International Aquatic Center is massive. Olympic-sized pools, electronic scoreboards, stadium seating for thousands. Flags from 30 countries hang from the rafters. Maya arrives alone, carrying a borrowed duffel and wearing a plain black suit her mother sewed from a pattern, nothing like the sleek tech suits sponsored swimmers wear. She checks into a hostel near the venue, shares a room with 3 other independent swimmers who eye her with mixture of curiosity and respect. You're the Vortex girl, one says, a Brazilian named Sofia competing in distance events. We saw your video. That coach of yours is a bastard. Former coach, Maya corrects. Riverside's team stays at a luxury hotel downtown, their accommodations sponsored by parent donations. Maya sees them during check-in at the venue. Brooke in designer athletic wear, Dylan flanked by his parents, Coach Harlan wearing a new Riverside warm-up jacket and his signature smirk. Their eyes meet across the concourse. His smirk widens, then he turns away dismissively. Maya feels nothing but cold focus. The qualifying heats begin. Maya swims in Heat 3 of the 200-meter freestyle, placed with mid-tier competitors deliberately. Another administrative slight meant to demoralize her. She doesn't care. She touches the wall in first place, her time fast enough to seed 3rd overall for finals. Brooke, swimming in a later heat with weaker competition, seeds 2nd. The tension is set. But that night, sabotage strikes. Maya returns to her locker to find her goggles slashed, the straps cut clean through. Her backup pair is missing, stolen. Without goggles, swimming at this level is nearly impossible. The water pressure at speed can damage eyes. She reports the theft to venue security, but they're dismissive. Equipment issues aren't our jurisdiction. You should have backups. I did. They were stolen. Can you prove that? Maya bites back rage. She has 8 hours until finals, no goggles, and no money to buy new ones at venue prices. She calls Ms. Reyes, who immediately starts calling local sporting goods stores. They're all closed. Ms. Reyes then remembers Sofia, the Brazilian swimmer. She's competing tomorrow, too. Maybe she has extras. Maya finds Sofia in the warm-up pool. Without hesitation, Sofia offers her practice pair. They're not perfect, but they work. We independent swimmers have to stick together, no? The kindness nearly breaks Maya. Thank you. Save it for the pool. Beat those bastards. The next morning, race day, Maya wakes at dawn. Her mother calls, voice thick with emotion. Your father would be so proud. Win or lose, you've already done it. I'm not planning to lose. At the venue, the energy is electric. Scouts fill the stands, representatives from college programs, Olympic training centers, professional sponsors. This is where careers are made. Maya's heat for the 200-meter finals is stacked. Brooke Sinclair in lane 4, herself in lane 5, 3 international swimmers in lanes 1 through 3 who've medaled at Junior World Championships. Dylan swims in the 100-meter event later. During warm-ups, Brooke accidentally kicks Maya in the ribs during a shared lane. The contact is hard enough to bruise. A referee sees but does nothing. Maya doesn't retaliate. She simply moves to a different lane and continues warming up, each stroke a meditation on purpose. In the ready room, Brooke sits across from her, radiating smug confidence. Nice goggles. Are those borrowed? Guess you couldn't afford your own. Maya meets her gaze evenly. At least I earned my spot here. Brooke's face flushes. What's that supposed to mean? It means your mother donated $50,000 the same week you made captain. It means I've seen the emails. So has the journalist at the Metro Tribune. The color drains from Brooke's face. Final call for 200-meter freestyle, the official announces. They walk to the blocks in silence. The stadium erupts as swimmers are introduced. Maya scans the crowd, Ms. Reyes in the front row, holding a sign that reads, Vortex Power. Jaden is there too, having driven down overnight. A whole section of seats is filled with her Vortex squad, kids who saved their allowances to buy bus tickets. Her people. And scattered throughout, Harlan's supporters, Riverside parents, officials who've benefited from his system, all waiting for her to fail. Maya steps onto the block, pulls Sofia's goggles tight, shakes out her arms. The starting signal echoes like a gunshot. The dive is perfect. Maya hits the water like a blade, her streamline cutting through resistance as the pool explodes with thrashing bodies. She surfaces third, behind Brooke and an Australian swimmer named Mitchell, who leads the pack with aggressive, powerful strokes. First 100 meters. Maya holds position, conserving energy, letting her competitors burn themselves out. Brooke is swimming textbook freestyle, fast, efficient, exactly what Harlan taught her. Mitchell maintains his lead with raw strength. But at the 75-meter mark, Maya sees her moment. The first turn. She approaches the wall at speed, plants her feet at exactly 17.3 degrees, and initiates the vortex turn. Her body becomes a spinning helix, manipulating the turbulence, transforming water resistance into propulsion. The sensation is flight. She explodes off the wall in first place. The crowd gasps. They've never seen anything like it. Even the announcers stumble. Did you see that turn? Johnson just gained a full body length. Brooke, surfacing from her conventional flip turn, sees Maya ahead and panics. Her stroke rhythm breaks, becomes choppy with desperation. Mitchell fights to close the gap, but Maya has found another gear. Second 100 meters. Maya unleashes everything her father taught her. Each stroke is economical, powerful. A conversation with water instead of a battle. The vortex turn at the 150-meter wall is even cleaner. Her rotation generating visible thrust that the underwater cameras capture in stunning detail. She's flying now, the lead expanding. 50 meters to go. The stadium is on its feet, roaring. Maya can't hear them underwater, but she feels the vibrations in her chest. Feels history bending toward this moment. In the stands, Ms. Reyes is crying and cheering simultaneously. The Vortex squad is screaming themselves hoarse. Jaden films everything, knowing this footage will be replayed forever. And Coach Harlan. Coach Harlan is frozen, watching his entire world collapse in real time. Final turn. Maya's third vortex is perfection, a masterclass in applied physics. She rockets off the wall like a torpedo. Brooke is a full 3 seconds behind, Mitchell fading in third. 25 meters. Maya's arms burn, her lungs scream for air, but she doesn't slow. She thinks of her father, of his hospital bed promise, of the USB drive that contained not just technique, but love, legacy, proof that she was always enough. 10 meters. The crowd is deafening. 5 meters. She can see the timing pad, see her reflection in the water, see the finish line that represents so much more than a race. She touches. The scoreboard freezes, calculating. Then, 1:52.47. A new international junior record, 0.3 of a second faster than the previous mark set by an Olympic silver medalist. Maya surfaces, rips off her goggles, and the reality crashes over her like a wave. She's done it. Not just won, dominated. Proven her father's genius, validated her own worth, shattered every limitation Harlan tried to impose. The crowd's roar intensifies. Brooke touches in second, 1:55.21, a personal best, but irrelevant. Mitchell takes third. Maya pulls herself out, and Ms. Reyes is there, wrapping her in a hug that feels like coming home. The Vortex squad swarms them, laughing and crying and chanting her name. But the moment of celebration is interrupted by chaos at the judges' table. Security is escorting Coach Harlan out of the venue. The big screen above the pool flickers, then displays something unexpected. Someone has hacked into the arena's video system. Suddenly, everyone sees what Jaden spent the past week preparing, a compilation of the leaked emails, the donor payments, the manipulated times, all of Harlan's corruption laid bare with timestamps and evidence. The feed includes side-by-side comparisons of Harlan's technique demonstrations with Maya's father's original research files. The metadata clearly showing her father created everything years before Harlan claimed authorship. Sports scientists are quoted explaining the physics, validating the innovation. It's a complete, irrefutable exposé, broadcast to thousands of swimming officials, scouts, and parents. The crowd's energy shifts from celebration to outraged understanding. Harlan, halfway to the exit, turns back with desperation in his eyes. But there's nowhere to run. Federation officials converge on him, security close behind. Across the natatorium, Brooke sits at the pool's edge, her face buried in her hands, crying. For the first time, Maya feels something other than anger toward her. Pity, maybe, or recognition that Brooke is also a victim of Harlan's system, just from a different angle. The rest of the meet continues, but Maya's race is all anyone discusses. Scouts line up to speak with her, offering training program positions, scholarship evaluations, Olympic development pathways. A representative from Swim USA formally apologizes for the Ethics Committee's premature warnings and launches an immediate investigation into Harlan's complaint. That evening, Maya's phone explodes with messages. The Metro Tribune runs a follow-up story. Teen swimmer breaks record, exposes systematic corruption in elite athletics. The video of her race goes viral, not just among swimming fans but across social media, picked up by sports networks, shared by athletes from other disciplines who see their own struggles reflected in her triumph. But the message Maya treasures most comes from an unknown number. A photo of her father, young and strong, standing at a pool with the caption, "He knew. We all knew you'd do it. Coach Rita." 3 weeks later, back home, the aftermath continues to unfold. Coach James Harlan is terminated from Riverside Academy, loses his swimming federation credentials, and faces multiple civil lawsuits from former athletes and their families. The school board orders a complete audit of the athletic department, leading to policy reforms, transparent tryout criteria, independent oversight of team selection, mandatory anti-discrimination training. Brooke Sinclair, surprisingly, reaches out to apologize. The conversation is awkward, painful, but genuine. She admits she knew something was wrong but was too scared of losing her position to speak up. Maya doesn't forgive immediately, but she doesn't slam the door either. Healing takes time. Dylan Reed's family quietly withdraws their donations and transfers him to another school. Several other donor families follow. The Vortex squad expands to 36 kids, with Miss Reyes helping Maya secure grant funding to build a proper training program. They move operations to a refurbished community pool that the city agrees to maintain. The program becomes a model, attracting attention from other marginalized communities nationwide. Maya's mother finds work managing the program's operations, using skills from her own swimming background. The eviction is avoided. Actually, they move into a better apartment near the new training facility. College offers pour in. Maya chooses a school that offers a full scholarship and, more importantly, respects her autonomy, her methods, her vision for how swimming should be taught. She defers enrollment for a year to train intensively for Olympic trials. And Jaden? He transfers to a different school, relieved to escape Riverside's toxic culture. He and Maya remain close friends, partners in exposing athletic corruption wherever they find it. 6 months after Miami, Maya returns to the International Aquatic Center for senior-level competition. This time, she's not alone. 3 of her Vortex squad students have qualified alongside her. They walk into the venue together, wearing matching team jackets that read, "Vortex Swimming, Everyone Belongs." The sports establishment watches with mixture of respect and unease. Maya has proven that revolutionary technique combined with inclusive values can defeat entrenched systems. Other swimmers are studying the Vortex turn. Coaches are questioning traditional methods, and swimming federations are implementing ethics reforms. Change is slow, but it's real. In the ready room before her race, the 200-meter freestyle again, Maya closes her eyes and feels her father's presence, not as grief anymore, but as power, as fuel. She thinks about the girl who was humiliated at the pool's edge, told she didn't belong, dismissed as a quota to fill. She thinks about everyone who's been counted out, pushed aside, told they weren't good enough based on nothing but prejudice and corruption. And she smiles, because she's not swimming just to win anymore. She's swimming to prove that excellence has no single face, no required background, no predetermined path. She's swimming to break down every barrier that people like Harlan spent careers building. The call comes, "Swimmers to your blocks." Maya walks out to thunderous applause. The stadium is full of people like her, diverse, determined, done accepting limitations. She steps onto the block, goggles secured, body coiled with purpose. The starting signal sounds, and Maya Johnson dives into water that no longer resists her, but carries her forward, propels her toward a future she's building stroke by stroke, turn by revolutionary turn, teaching the world that sometimes the greatest act of rebellion is simply refusing to drown. The scoreboard will show her time when she finishes, but the real measure of her victory is already visible in the stands, in the eyes of every young swimmer watching, seeing themselves in her story. understanding that they too can break waves,